Jagradav, Jam Masters. Let's talk about inspiration. The very high spiritual terms and spiritual words have so many different levels of meaning, depending on where you are, how evolved you are, how deep you've gone. Love, peace, inspiration, devotion, all of these things have very, very, very different meanings at different stages of your path. What is inspiration? In the purest sense, inspiration is this flow of Shakti, this flow of spirit that rushes up inside of you, and you can't do anything but what it drives you to do. It just motivates you. All your thoughts, all your heart, every bit of it is all in one direction. It's an amazingly powerful, powerful force. That is very different than looking for inspiration. Very different. And what most people mean is, I want to find inspiration. I want to find a job that is passionate for me. I want to find a relationship that inspires me. That's very, very different than having inspiration. Inspiration is spontaneous. It's not dependent upon anything. It can't be controlled. It's just when your whole being, the whole physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, are all aligned, and they're pouring up, and they're reaching out and up at the same time to create, to express. That's passion. Okay? We don't have that very often. We want it. That's what everybody wants. Okay? You don't want to have a love affair. You want to be overwhelmed with love. If you happen to meet somebody and you start feeling love, you say, I love you. You're lying. What you mean is, I love love. And as long as you're around and you cause love when I'm in your presence, I love you. Otherwise, I'll find somebody else. All right? Just be honest. It's the same thing. It's a difference between experiencing it and not experiencing it and wanting to experience it. And that's the human predicament. Human beings, in norm, do not feel overwhelming love all the time. They do not feel overwhelming peace all the time. They do not feel overwhelming spirit flow or inspiration all the time. They know it's there. They've certainly experienced it sometimes. You're a very highly evolved species. But it's not like it's there all the time, is it? So those are two great things to understand. I don't need to teach you that there's such a thing as love. You have experienced love. I don't need to teach you that such a thing as inspiration. You've been driven and sometimes just can't wait to go to work or can't wait to play the piano. You hear me? You're just so inspired to do this. You know what that means, but it's not there all the time, is it? And so what you do, what a human does, is say, I want it. I know it's there. I've experienced it. I need to find it. Well, how do you find it? Now the mind comes in. And the mind says, I will analyze it. When have I felt it before? When I was in Hawaii. When I took a cruise. When I met somebody new that I'd never met before. When I went to a rave and they were moshing me. I don't know. When I did acid. When I did ayahuasca. See, I'm fairly modern, all right? Okay, I felt inspiration. I felt this. I felt love. I felt close to God. All right, then what happened? I came back. So what'd you do? I tried to do it again. Okay, hear me? There's a difference between experiencing it all the time and wanting to experience it. When you want to experience, your mind gets involved. And it says, well, when did I experience before? How do I recreate that situation? Like, when you used to kiss me, I used to melt in so much. Well, why don't you kiss me like that anymore? All right? It probably has nothing to do with the other person. It has to do with you. It has to do with your openness. It has to do with your ability to experience. And new things will very often inspire you. They'll very often turn you on because they're new. I'll give you an example. Pick your favorite meal that you've ever had in your entire life. I'm going to find the finest chef that specializes in that meal. Bring them over here, because they're probably from Europe. Bring them over here, all right, and have them make that for you. You excited? Can't wait, can you? what if it's better than anything you ever thought it would be? You're just melting with every single bite. It's just blowing your mind. It could happen, couldn't it? Great. So now it's over. Okay? And I walk up to you because I love you very much. I say, I can get him or her to stay another night. Would you like it tomorrow night also? What are you going to say? Well, yeah. Are you kidding me? All right. Very inspired. It's beautiful. Okay. Well, he likes it here in America. We can do a third night. How about breakfast? Lunch? Dinner? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. How long will it take before it makes you sick to think of it? Answer me. You push that away. Give me some Brussels sprouts. Oh my God. In other words, you get used to stuff, don't you? Maybe that's why the kiss didn't seem so special. Maybe it had nothing to do with the kiss. Maybe it had nothing to do with what the person was feeling. Maybe it had to do with haven't noticed, like, a lot of you know my past. I went through all but dissertation, doctorate in economics. And they taught me something that now, spiritually, I see how deep it was. I wish I could go back and write a dissertation on that, all right? Which is the law of diminishing returns. What did we just talk about? That's an economic law. You learn that in graduate school, right? There's a law of diminishing returns. Guess what? There is, isn't there? The more you get something, the less utility it has for you. That goes for everything. That's why you don't feel inspiration all the time. And that's why your mind can't really help you that much. Because it always says the grass is greener. It always says there's something I haven't experienced yet. I have to find it. How about that? You know one thing you never put on your bucket list? Something you've already experienced. Isn't that funny? That doesn't go on your bucket list. It worked okay, but there's got to be something greater. And before I die, I want to find that. And so you try to think of these things that you think will turn you on, that you think you'll feel inspiration, you think you'll feel love, you think you'll feel these different stuff, right? It doesn't ever do it. It doesn't ever do it. If you expect something to give you something, it doesn't ever do it. Because your mind has already made up what it thinks it's going to be like. And now when it happens, you're not open. You're not new. It's not a true, deep, new experience. It's something that has to pass through the judgment of your mind. Yeah, this is getting there. This is close. A little closer. No, try. You're trying to recreate what you made up in your mind. Your mind does not feel any love or inspiration. A mind is an analytical tool. A computer can do all kinds of stuff, but believe me, it doesn't know what it's doing, no matter what they say, even AI. It's just logic. It's just logic. Well, logic doesn't know love. And logic doesn't know inspiration or passion or all the deeper things that you experience. Okay? So, first I'm painting that picture. There is a vast difference between experiencing inspiration all the time, and I mean all the time. All the time. From the moment you wake up in the morning, you can't wait to get out of bed. You can't wait to brush your teeth. It's fun. You can't wait to have breakfast, or you can't wait to miss breakfast. Whatever's happening, you are inspired with no concept of what it's going to be. I told you, if you already think about what you want, it will not have as strong of an impact as you expect, because you have an expectation. Does everybody understand that? Have you noticed that? Go to Hawaii. They told you Hawaii is amazing. Here, go on the web and look at all the pictures of the advertisements of Hawaii. Then go to Hawaii. There are probably mosquitoes in Hawaii, but they don't put them on the web. And it's like, it's just never going to be what your mind expects. So if you think that what's going to turn you on is what your mind says, I'm telling you that in and of itself cannot fully turn you on. It has to be a spontaneous experience that you're not expecting. And all of a sudden, why? Because you're open. When you have a preconceived notion of what's going to happen, you're not open. Can we do that? Because I wonder if you understand this. Because you can screw your life up completely by not understanding this. All right? Let's say you have no notion of what the weather's going to be like. None. Nothing. You're going to go on a vacation, and whatever it is, you haven't even thought about it. I don't know. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Then if it rains and it's a nice misty rain, you say, oh, wow, I didn't expect that. Okay, I didn't expect it would be that rich, would have that effect on me. And you go through different experiences without expectations. That's a broad openness. If you have an expectation, you've narrowed down the experiences that will turn you on. You've made it up in your mind, okay? This is what a kiss is supposed to feel like. you're in trouble. If you've never had a kiss and you make up in your mind, you're a Martian, you make up in your mind, oh, what this must be, you're in trouble. Because it's not going to be what you expect, ever. Nothing is ever what you expect. Have you noticed that? You do things like compromise and cope. And, well, this is pretty good. I once had an experiment of asking people, how are you doing? How are you doing? I'm okay. Now just please analyze that. How good is okay? That's not very good. How are you doing? It's been worse. How you doing? I'll get there. How you doing? I have hope. What kind of answers are those? But they're basically saying, I'm not doing very good, but I'm being positive about it. My favorite is, it's been worse. That's how we are. Do you understand that? Because you have expectations of what you think needs to happen for you to be okay. In fact, I told you my favorite were relationships. If you create a person that is the way you think you want them to be, you will never feel anything. You're not having a relationship with a person, you have a relationship with yourself. It takes openness. Love is you're open. You're open to this experience that overwhelms you, to feel inspiration. You're open. It's not something you plan. It's not something you figure out. It doesn't work when you're doing that. The mind ruins those things because it's set parameters of saying, yes, I want to go, but not if it rains. Yes, I want to go, but not if there's a roach. Yes, I want to go, but not if the waiter doesn't treat me nice. You have all these expectations, and if they're not met, and they're very narrow, by the way, they're very specific, aren't they? If they're not met, then you're not okay. You did that. The waiter didn't do that. The rain didn't do that. The roach didn't do that. You did that by saying, I'm not going to be okay unless it's exactly the way I thought it's going to be. In your relationship, my God, you do that with your relationships. I love you. I loved you. I just didn't know you slurp your soup. Come on, we've been together for months, and I guess we never had soup. No, I'm sorry. My father slurped the soup, and I didn't like my father very much, and so goodbye. And so you get to the point where you understand there's two levels of all these words. There's love, which is something you're experiencing. It's spontaneous. It's not dependent on anything. It's unconditional. It's just love. It has nothing to do with another person. It has to do with you being open. So this love that's inside of you comes springing up. Then there's wanting to have love. There's inspiration. I told you what that is. Inspiration is beautiful. Isn't it beautiful that you can't wait to go do something? Right? It's like, man, it's tearing you apart. I want to play this. Beethoven was that way. When he went deaf, when he started going deaf, he had pouring in his head all these pieces, and he had to get them down. He was so inspired and driven. When he started losing his hearing, he was deaf. He went deaf. He cut the legs off his piano, put it on the wood floor, and put his ear near the floor because he could hear the vibration. That's passion. That's inspiration. He was driven. All right? That's beautiful, isn't it? Okay? You can't have that if you have concepts in your mind of what you want to happen and what you don't want to happen. Because then you're comparing everything against. But put it this way. It has to pass through your mind to get to your heart. How's that? Has to pass through your mind to make it to spirit. If it does, if you sit there and say, here's a fun one. Think about what your ideal relationship would be like. Just think about your soulmate. All right? Here's your soulmate. I have, since I'm little, liked cowboys or cowgirls or this or that. And I made up a conglomerate person that would be my perfect person. They would always know what I'm feeling and always be close when I want to be close and never not be close when I don't. Right? Come on, you do it, right? Just think it all up, okay? Do you know what you've just done? You've ruined every single relationship you will ever have. Because you will be comparing every single person against that. You say it was good, but you're not wearing cowboy boots. And you did put them on for me, but they don't look so stable. They don't look as good. Okay, come on, you do it. All right? So you don't understand. You think that you've increased your probability of feeling love. You have made it impossible to feel love. What you will do is say, well, maybe this is the best I can get. And you'll settle for something. Ever settle for things? Well, it was worse before. No, you are capable of unconditional, overwhelming love pouring inside of you every single second of your life that can never be taken away by anything. Did you know that? It happens to be who you are. That is your natural state. The reason you don't feel it is what I'm telling you. Because you sat there and put conditions on it. I can't feel love because of this. I can't feel love because of that. As opposed to, I'm going to let go of the part of me that is putting conditions on things. As opposed to, I'm going to keep the part of me that's putting conditions and try to match the conditions. I'm going to repeat that because, you don't want to come out here toward the new year because the talks get intense. You circled the sun a whole nother year. Gee, I hope you're doing better. And if you're not, it's your fault. Okay? You had a whole nother circle around the sun. That's all that happened. And what did you do with that time? Try to find what you think will turn you on? Try to find the perfect relationship. Try to find the perfect job. Try to find that which inspires you. Try to look the way you want to look so people will like you so that you can have what you want. Did you waste your time for another year? Or did you sit there and say, what am I doing? I'm sitting on this phenomenal planet, spinning in the middle of black, empty space, setting conditions on life that it has to be a certain way for me to be okay. Why don't I get rid of the conditions? Why don't I sit there and say, all weather's beautiful? I love it. I love it. Why don't I love every driver that drives in front of me, no matter how they drive? Oh, look, he didn't use his blinker. Ah, way to go, man. Which way's more fun? Well, I have a job, and it's an assembly line job, and I'm putting widgets. I never figured out what a widget was. Anyways, I'm putting widgets on top of something, and I do it every single day, and I've been doing it for 30 years. Is it boring? No, it's not boring. I do it better every single day. I cut 1/100th of a nanosecond off the time it takes. It's so inspiring. I can't wait to go to work every single day. How would you like to be like that? Why can't you? You said so. You said, this doesn't inspire me. That might. That will. Do you understand that? Okay? You are putting, I don't know how to say it. If you're not feeling love, it's your fault. If you're not feeling inspiration, it's your fault. If you're not feeling peace, it's your fault. Why? Because you're the only one who lives in there. And love is something that springs spontaneously inside or doesn't. And inspiration is something that just, oh my God, how can I be inspired? Go hang out on Mars for a while. See how boring it is. You want boring? I'll show you boring. There's nothing but red dirt. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. And that goes for every single planet in our solar system. And so far, even with the James Webb and with the Hubble, we ain't seen a living thing anywhere else. And we've looked a lot, haven't we? Not a living thing, not a protozoa. And you're not inspired having dropped down into a planet where it rains and it snows and people talk and there's animals and there's flowers. Oh my God. And there's all kinds of different things, aren't there? But you're bored. How many of you haven't found what you're looking for yet? How many of you are waiting for your ship to come in? There's no ship. There's just you having blocked yourself so you don't feel what's natural for you to feel. Love, joy, inspiration, everything, all the time. You block that, and now you're waiting for something to come in that will offset your block. I've met people that say, I don't feel worthy of love. I just never feel worthy of love. I don't believe anybody really loved me because I don't think I can be loved. I'm not worthy of love. I don't love myself. I don't know how many can love me, all right? But I'm looking for someone that will make me feel love. You're looking for love in all the wrong places. It's like, how can somebody outside make you feel something inside? If you're in there determining, I'm not worthy, I don't feel love, the best they can do is distract you from yourself. Somehow they're entertaining enough, good looking enough, or whatever the heck it is. There's something about them that when you're in their presence distracts you from the garbage you're doing inside yourself. Therefore you feel better. But that's why you feel better. They can't do anything. All they can do is be a clown. Entertain me. And what happens when they stop entertaining you? That's the end of the relationship. Because I'm in this relationship for me, not you. Come on, be honest. Okay? And so as long as you're distracting me one way or another, your body's good looking, you treat me nicely, you do this, you do that, whatever it is, there's something about you that you say attracts me. No, distracts you. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't attract you. It distracts your consciousness from being absorbed in the mess that you've built inside your psyche. That isn't happy and doesn't like it and can't feel love and doesn't feel appreciative and nobody blah, 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 blah. All that stuff that goes on in there. And you expect to be happy? You expect to feel love? You expect to feel peace? No, it's conditional. If everything's the way I want it to be, I can be happy. How often is everything the way you want it to be? And if it ever was for 1 second, how long did it last? Okay? You are ruining your life by thinking, I could stop there by the way. You are ruining your life by thinking things are supposed to be a certain way outside for you to be okay. Instead of understanding you were made okay, you're filled with love, filled with inspiration. You're the highest that ever walked the face of the earth, period. There's nothing you can do about it. You didn't ruin it. It's still in there. You're just not looking at it. If something's beautiful here and something's broken there and I keep staring over here, well, I thought you said there was beauty. I don't see any beauty. Of course you don't. You're looking in the wrong direction. If you turn, oh, there you are. Hi, guys. All right, it's the same thing inside. I'm telling you right now, the highest thing that Christ felt is going on inside of you. Where Buddha went that they called nirvana is going on inside of you. Right now. Right now. You don't have to do anything except stop staring at yourself. Stop staring at what you did with your psyche to make a mess. You made up all this mess inside your mind. All right, let's be fair. Psychology studies that mess. They don't call it a mess necessarily. They think it's natural, right? But psychology says man is the sum of his learned experiences. You are the sum of your learned experiences. First, as a spiritual person who knows better, it's not true. I mean, it is true, but it's not true. You are the consciousness that is staring at the psyche, which is the sum of your learned experiences. Somebody knows you're screwed up in there. You know. How do you know? You who knows isn't screwed up, okay? But you're staring at something that is. No one has ever been depressed. They're staring at a depressed psyche. The self doesn't get scared. It's staring at fear. Here, I'm telling you, my mind is so messed up, I can't even live with it. It's giving me so much trouble. How do you know? Answer me. How do you know? How do you know? I don't know. I look at you. You look okay to me. How do you know that's going on inside of you? Because you're a conscious being, aren't you? And your awareness, your consciousness is noticing that there's some junk going on in there that's causing my trouble. Since she left me, my heart is so broken. It's being torn to pieces. It just feels like razor blades in there. I can't even live with it. How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? You're obviously in there noticing that. You who's noticing it happens to be Satchidananda, eternal conscious ecstasy. That's the name in yoga we call for the self, for the consciousness, for God. Satchidananda, eternal conscious ecstasy, is staring at this stuff, making yourself miserable. So that all the techniques, all the spiritual techniques are trying to teach you to get your consciousness onto something other than yourself. All right, Christ said you die to be reborn. The Christians call it dying to self. Yogis call it transcending the personal self. It's all the same thing. You who's in there are perfect. You're very high. You're beautiful. I told you once, we're getting toward the end of the year, so I'm just going to get right out there. People say they want to know God. I want to seek God. I'm seeking God. That's the silliest thing in the whole world. Watch this. I'm staring at that picture over there. I'm fixated on it. I'm staring at it so strong, and I've been doing it for years, that I don't see anything else in this room. I don't hear anything. I'm totally fixated on that picture. Could that happen? Can I do that? Can my consciousness focus so totally on something that it doesn't see anything else? Okay, fine. There I am. And someone talked to me, and the picture got my attention enough to say, you know, you're not the picture. You're actually sitting back there looking at the picture. You're in a chair somewhere. Well, I need to find my way back to the chair. I'm staring at the picture. How do I find my way back to the chair? I never left the chair, did I? Did I? All I did was project my consciousness onto an object of consciousness and become fixated on it. That's your state. You are sitting in God right now. You are where Christ went, Buddha, enlightenment, you name it. You're sitting there staring at you. You are the highest thing that ever was, your consciousness. Consciousness. Where is the core of consciousness? That's what God is. That's consciousness. That's the greatest force in the entire universe. And it's one. It is staring at your thoughts, your heart, your body, what's coming in through your senses. Therefore, to say I want to seek God and find God is a joke. Instead of I want to find God, how about stop leaving? That's how close you are. That's why you can have spiritual experiences. Why? Because you're a spiritual being, and when you have a spiritual experience, you feel a sunset. Ever turn the corner expecting nothing, and this gorgeous, giant lavender sun is shining there, and it blows your mind? What does that mean, it blew my mind? It took your consciousness off your thoughts. While you are looking at that sunset and it's blowing you away, you're not thinking about the mortgage, you're not thinking about the problem with the kids, you're not thinking about anything. It distracted your consciousness onto this other object, and it's very rare that it can do that, but it can do that, can't it? And you go tell somebody, oh, you have no idea. It was like a spiritual experience. I felt like I was in the presence of God. You were. You were in the presence of God. Why? Because that's who you are. And you withdrew your consciousness from staring at your psyche, and it got distracted by that, and you felt the nature of yourself. The sun, it's just a sun. It's just an object. But it drew your consciousness away from this stuff you're staring at every moment of every day, making yourself miserable. And so because of that freedom, you felt more the nature of your being. You felt the love of a perfect kiss, the love of perfect food, all of it, all combined together. It all has the same effect, which is it distracted you from what you're staring at. Psychology says the sum of your learned experiences. That's what you're staring at. Listen to me. You're staring at the sum of your learned experiences. You're not staring at you. When you sit there and say, I don't like balloons. When I was young, I had a party, and some real mean kid, a bully, popped all my balloons, and I hate balloons. When was that? When I was 3. What are you now? 63? And I just can't handle balloons. Sum of your learned experiences. It's a true statement. They're right. Your psyche, which you're staring at, is the sum of your learned experiences. You who's staring at it are not. You're there all the time. Were you in there yesterday? Were you in there yesterday noticing your thoughts? Yes or no? Were you in there a week ago? A year ago? Okay? It's harder if I go further back, but when you were 15 years old, did you ever look in the mirror? Did what you see look like what it looks like now? Was it you looking? You have been in the whole time. If you're in there saying, oh my God, I feel so much love, and you say, oh my God, now my heart is broken. It's the same you who's experiencing both of those things, is it not? Do you have to call each other on the cell phone? Hey, you who felt the love, be aware, I'm not feeling it now. It's the same you. There's just one you in there, one consciousness. And that consciousness is the highest thing that ever was or will ever be. Who said it? Christ said that. He said, as I sit by the throne of my Father, that's a state of consciousness. As I sit by the throne of my Father, so you shall sit by my throne. And these things which I do, you should do these and even greater things. What is that saying? You're the same as me. Buddha taught the same thing, and the Kabbalah teaches the same thing, and the Sufis teach the same thing. You are the highest thing that ever walked the face. Either staring at something that's not, okay? I'm going to say it once. You are the highest thing that could possibly be. You are. Doesn't the Bible say man is created in the image of God? God is consciousness, spirit, eternal, infinite presence. How's that? That's what you are, staring at the sum of your learned experiences. And the sum of your learned experiences is not so much fun, is it? Why? Because you've had many, many experiences in your life. How many? 700 billion zillion. If you look at a leaf, that's an experience. If you drive by a car, it's an experience. If you hear a noise, like you've had billions and billions and billions of experiences all the time. But you didn't keep all of them. But I guarantee you kept the ones that hurt you. All right. Why? That's your business. I want to tell you how not to. I don't want to talk about why you... Isn't it pretty stupid to store inside of you every single thing that ever bothered you? What's it going to be like in there if you store inside every single thing that disturbs you? Disturbed. And isn't it? And all of psychology agrees. Freud, yeah, a little storehouse down there, you call it a subconscious. Let's just shove everything down there that we didn't like. That would be fun, right? No. So that's your whole ego, your self-concept, your view on life, every single thing your mind thinks. Personal, your personal stuff is the sum of the learned experiences. Suppression didn't help. It's just out of your conscious awareness, but it's like a virus. It's down there, ransomware. It's causing a lot of trouble. You hear me? Anything you shove down there, it's not gone. It's be there your entire life, affecting your thoughts, affecting your feelings, affecting everything. That's what you're staring at. That's what it means, the sum of your learned experience. What the heck you ought to look at that for? Not to mention you who's looking is in ecstasy. A light that shines on something broken is not broken. The light is transcendent to what it is shining on. Your consciousness is transcendent to what it is looking at. But it gets addicted. Consciousness can get fixated. It can get addicted by staring at something long enough. And you've stared at your stuff long enough. So now you're not okay. And we'll get to tie back inspiration. Now you think the answer to be okay. Ready? I don't want to say this. It gives me goosebumps. It gives me creeps. You know how to be okay now? Take the sum of your learned experiences, think about them, make up a world that fits the sum of your learned experiences, and then go out there and make it happen. How ridiculous is that? You're letting the lowest part of your being create dreams and hope. What do you mean by hope? What do you mean by hope? I hope someday it'll be the way I want. So you have this psyche, you're staring at it, you're lost in it, completely lost in it, you've been fixated on it, okay, you're identified with it. You think you are the psyche. You literally say, I'm so-and-so, I like this, I don't like that. Here, we're going on a date, I want you to understand me. I'm like this, I'm like that, I like red, my favorite color is this, I'm this, I get bothered by that. You're defining yourself as the experiences you've had in the past. I'm the kind of person that likes this, I don't like dogs. No, a dog barked at me once, I don't like dogs. That's called your self-concept. Like psychology's right, they're defining your psyche. They're not talking about you. Okay? So you who's looking at this have nothing to do with what you're looking at. Nothing. Except you do identify with it, don't you? You sit there and say, it's me. Come on, you know I don't like when you do that. I've never liked when you did that. I told you I don't like when you did that. Who's saying that? God? No, I don't think so. That's a psyche that you built. It happens by itself, don't worry. All right? It's just a sum of the learned experience, like a computer taking in data. It only takes in certain data. I can't help myself. There's a point that I keep trying to make. I don't know if anybody gets it. In any given moment, you're having an experience. Are you having the experience you're not having? No. You're only having the experience you're having. How many experiences are you missing? How many experiences are going on that you're not having at this moment? 700 billion, zillion, quillion all over the universe. There's things happening everywhere, aren't there? But you're not experiencing them. So the sum of your learned experiences is so meaningless. It's so absurd. It's not even zeroed. Can anybody hear me? If you had a different experience, would you think different? Psychology sure says you would. If your parents didn't get divorced, if your sister didn't yell at you, any different in there? Okay. So you're having one experience, missing all the rest of the experience that could potentially happen, and defining yourself by the one experience that you had going through time and space. That is pretty meaningless, isn't it? Therefore, what's going on inside your head is completely meaningless. It's so minuscule what you've experienced, it's ridiculous. And then you put it together and say, that's who I am. It is not who you are. It is just the sum of your learned experiences, which are meaningless. That's how you should look at it. You should be able to look down at that talking head and say, really? That's really funny. But I really believe in this. Why? Well, my sister doesn't think. If there's reasons, it's meaningless because you missed all the other reasons. I should just leave you there. What does that feel like to understand it's meaningless? So now you've taken this nothing that you've experienced. It's just really nothing. In statistics, we have a word for it. I like the word a lot. Statistically insignificant. I know who's going to win the election. I asked him. Hello, that doesn't count. Well, neither does the stuff going on inside your head. They were meaningless experiences in relationship to all the experiences you weren't having that were going on at the same time. Will you please listen to me? If you're going to clean out that psyche and get higher, you have to be willing to look at it and realize, really? I'm going to devote my life to that? The meaningless thing that got put together out of nothing. And so you look at it and you realize it's nothing. And if I made something out of it, that's why I'm a mess. That I couldn't handle that. This was the experience. There's experience going everywhere. I happen to be standing here. That's the experience I had. Guess what's going to happen next? Another experience. Then what? Another experience. But not with you. No, that one happened. I couldn't handle it. Therefore, that one stays and I miss all the rest. So the sum of the learned experience now gets put together into what you think you are. Then what do? You kind of find out I'm not okay. Gee, I wonder why. Is that fair? It's not because you didn't find the right person. It's not because it's raining out when you want to go sailing. That's not why you're not okay. You're not okay because you're staring at a collection of disturbances that you carried throughout your life, put them together, and knitted a little bonnet for yourself called the self-concept. That's who I am. And somehow, which I don't know why, the world doesn't match what I want. Gee, I wonder why. Again, I'm doing very quickly. You're very smart people. Your psyche that you're staring at is the sum of your learned experiences, which is pretty minuscule, right? Is the moment unfolding in front of you the sum of your learned experiences? Is that how that moment got the way it is? You guys are all sitting here because of the sum of my learned experiences. No. The moment is the sum of its learned experiences. It's called physics, chemistry, science, psychology. Your behavior right now has very little to do with me. You've got a whole history going on in there. So what you brought to the table at this moment is the sum of your learned experiences. What the rain brought was the sum of its learned experiences. Every single moment in front of you is the sum of its learned experiences. It's called cause and effect. All the different causes throughout time and space that cause this moment to coalesce the way it is right now is what I call the sum of its learned experiences. What does that have to do with the sum of your learned experiences? Nothing. You grew up in Connecticut and you did this and your father yelled at you and that's the sum of your learned experiences. This thing in front of you has nothing to do with it, does it? But you expect that that moment in front of you should match what you want. Have you noticed that the moments unfolding in front of you are not exactly what you want them to be? A lot of the time. I mean, like all the time. Why would they be? That's why they're not. You didn't do anything wrong. It's not that God doesn't love you. Why did this have to happen? You don't want to hear the answer. It will take you all the day and all night to even begin to hear the answer why that happened. It happened because her mother did this and this happened like that. And because the rain, El Nino and La Nina was happening. And, you really want to know why it had to rain on your birthday? Go study meteorology. And you will not find anything about your birthday in that book. Now you're hearing me. But we do think like that, don't we? We honestly believe, you honestly believe that the moment in front of you should be the way you want it to be. Don't you? You even came up with this law of attraction thing. Manifestation, there's the word. What does that mean? I have the power to make the moment in front of me be the way I want it to be. You know what it means? I can manifest the moment. I got a problem. If there was a way that all the forces throughout time and space would create this moment to be, the natural way it would unfold. I'm not saying it's good or bad or right or wrong. Right? It's not moral. Science is not moral. It just is. It's reality. So if there's a reality of how this moment would be, and I'm going to use my psychic spiritual powers to make it be what I want it to be, what happens? Well, oh my God, I can't even think about it. What happens to the rest of the balance of the universe? I don't understand. There was a way that it naturally would have been, that all the forces of creation made it to be in that moment. And you decided, no, I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be the way I want it to be. What effect does that have? Don't they tell you if you ever build a time machine, don't touch anything? You know, you've all thought about something like that, right? If you touch that, and what happens, and then the whole thing changes in the future, right? That's the same thing here. If you touch that, if you touch reality and try to make it be your stuff that you made up because of your past experiences, what effect does that have on everything? Make it not rain today. When the farmers' crops are going to die, you won't get any food in Publix. Go on. Does anybody think like that? I'm going to use manifestation. You don't think anything about what effect it's going to have on anybody else or anything. I just get what I want. This is called spiritual discussion. You wake up and realize your thing going on inside of you is the sum of your learned experiences. It's meaningless. Does that hurt you? Hopefully it doesn't hurt you because it's going to liberate you. I'm not sitting there saying you're meaningless. You're not meaningless. You're the highest thing that walked the face of the earth. You're a very, very, very great being. But you're staring at this stuff, which is nothing compared to everything that's going on. So basically, we'll go back to where we started this thing. What is inspiration? Something you feel every second of your life about every single thing you do, every moment, if you're not staring at your garbage. What is inspiration when I'm staring at my garbage? Totally conditional upon moments in front of you matching your garbage exactly right. I mean exactly. If somebody just says something that you want to hear but not the right tone, or they don't blink when they say it, okay? You're in love. I like that you're in love. You're fully in love. You're just hugging your beloved. It's the most perfect moment in the whole world. You're melting into it, but you're so in love, you just make me a girl, right? That you want to look in his face. You want to see the beauty in his eyes. So you open your eyes, because you normally don't open your eyes because you're inside. You get pulled inside, don't you? You open your eyes, and there it is. There's this cell phone behind your back, and somebody's looking at it. How you doing? Feel in love? No, because it didn't match your expectations. You just gave away love. Why would you trade off the beauty you were feeling so that now you can feel yuck? You did that. Then you find out a moment later, he was so melting, and he's been looking for the ring, and it beeped, and it's the perfect ring. He's getting... Now you're open again. The human race is broken. You can't find love that way. Love is not because somebody matches your stuff. Because guess what? They're matching your stuff because their stuff needs you to match their stuff. That's why they're wearing what they're wearing. That's why they rented the Ferrari when they pulled up, or the Tesla, when they pulled up to pick you up. And now you say you love them. I don't want to be that person because you don't love me. You love what I made up that I think. Do you really want to live like that? No, you don't, and I don't want you to, and that's why I talk to you. But what's the alternative? Let go of yourself. Stop staring at yourself, and you will find out that you are walking inspiration. You're just filled with love and joy all the time, but not if you're staring at something that isn't. And you are staring at something that isn't. It's called conditional love, conditional inspiration, conditional well-being. It's only there if the conditions match, and they don't match very often, do they? You hear me? That's the cause of every problem you're having. It's everything. So spirituality is not about getting what you want. A spiritual being doesn't know what the word want means. Why? Because they're feeling love all the time. They're feeling joy all the time. They're feeling inspiration all the time. Where do you want to go? They don't know what that means. Be here now. Do you want to go to see a movie? I'm already seeing a movie. It's already entertaining enough, right? That's who you are. You are capable of this. But not, I know I got you understand, you are staring at the sum of your learned experience, are you not? You have concepts and views and opinions and preferences and hopes and dreams and likes and dislikes, yes or no. Do you do not have those things? All right? A spiritual being does not have those things. Why? Because everything is inspiring. Everything is love. Everything is overwhelming. Everything. Everything is everything. I want to use the word beauty. Ugly is beauty. Who decided beauty? And so you wake up and realize, if you want to feel love, let go of yourself. What did Rumi say? It is not for you to seek love. It is for you to seek and find all the obstacles you put in her place. That's all I've talked to you about the entire time. He just is a poet, so he can say it in one line. I always take an hour. I don't know. In other words, you are blocking love and then expecting somebody or something else or the outside world to let you feel it even though you're blocking it. I'm in an intimate moment. I love you. I love you so much. Nothing comes back. I said, I love you. I love you so much. Yeah, I love you too. Oh my God. If it's not said exactly what, you hear what I'm saying? You made it impossible. You want to feel inspiration, you want this, you want that, right? I want to be inspired by my job. I want a woman boss. And I want my woman boss to have a woman boss. I want the CEO to be a woman because this glass ceiling stuff really pisses me off. Good luck. You just cut your job, which you'll be inspired by, down to about 0.5%. Why? You did that. That's called conditional well-being. Is there anything wrong with women being equal to men? Of course not. Is there anything wrong with being so inspired that you're the woman that's better than any man walk the face of the earth? All right? Because every job you do, you put your whole heart and soul into it. Everything's that way. The great teachings are, be here now. Why? There's no other place to be. Okay, we want to be there then? That's where you are, by the way. That's what it means to be listening to the sum of your learned experiences. You're being there then. You be here now. Reality is in front of you. First, you respect that it has the right. It has the right to be the sum of its learned experiences. You have the right for your psyche to be the sum of your learned experiences. Just like I have the right for my psyche to be some of my other experiences. Who am I to judge you? I didn't have your experiences. Not so easy, is it? But Christ taught you that, didn't he? Love thy neighbor as thyself. Love thy enemies. Judge not that ye shall not be judged. Let you who is without sin throw the first stone. Every single teaching he and the Buddha and every great being taught was exactly the same. Which is, who are you to judge somebody else? And on what base are you judging them? Me. Right? Me. And so you get to the point where you realize that's your problem. Is there's a moment in front of you. If you want to be inspired, be inspired. It's not the right one. Yeah, it is. It's called reality. Isn't it? Isn't it amazing that it's there? Everything is the result of everything that ever happened. The Big Bang started it, and it became this. What? The moment in front of you. Every single thing had to happen exactly the way it did for the moment in front of you to be the way it is. Right? I use the example, if your great-great-great-great-grandmother didn't meet your great-great-great-great-grandfather, you're not here, are you? That goes for everything. So the moment in front of you is sacred. It's the result of all the forces that cause it to be that way, and you're the only one that will ever see it. Do you know that? No one else sees the moment you see. No one ever did, and no one ever will. Wow! You want to talk about holy? You're given a front row seat to experience what creation created. And so you start to respect and honor what's going on in front of you and letting go of the part of you that can't do it. Not suppressing, just relax through it. When it says, I don't like that, laugh. That really hurts. Pet it like a dog. Just don't buy into the fact that you stored this garbage inside of you. When it comes up, let it go. Relax. And you will reach the point I'm telling you about. I guarantee you. Not all at once. It can be little by little. Just all of a sudden, you'll laugh because the electric toothbrush buzzes and tickles rather than complaining about what happened yesterday. You're not bringing yourself into the moment. You're experiencing the moment. That is what spirituality is. So we talked about inspiration. Inspiration is nice, isn't it? I want you to be inspired from the moment you wake up in the morning, through every single thing you go through, every single moment, no matter what it is, every person you meet, you're having an experience on a little planet in the middle of nowhere with all these things going on. OMG. That's how it should be. Now, but what about all these disturbances and terrible things that are going on? If you're part of them and you let them bring you down, you can't help anybody. If you go out to get somebody who's drowning and you let them bring you down, you both drown. You better be strong enough to go out there realizing they're screaming and yelling and pulling, and you can handle that. That's the same thing with all this. You get inspiration and love and power and God inside of you, and you bring that into this world. Then see what you can do to help. But you're not helping at all when you get miserable because they're miserable. So people ask me, how do I handle all the stuff that's going on in the world? By being filled with love, filled with light, filled with inspiration, to have the right to try to help. I'm inspired to help. How you like that? All right. Hope I wasn't yelling at you. All right. Thank you for listening.